Hello and welcome back to Mind of Success. I'm your host, Moni Millares, a Mexican British living in Asia. I work in fintech and build digital banks from scratch. In my years in the industry, I've realized most of us are in a vulnerable financial position. However, building a business can be a catalyst for change. So I created this podcast. It's about business stories we do not talk about. I chat with entrepreneurs, CEOs, and experts about their journeys, struggles, and lessons to extract gems of wisdom and practical tools so that we can thrive and create the impact we want. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mind of Success. Today, we are exploring a very interesting topic with a brilliant mind. So we have Chirag Jetani. He is the founder and COO of Diamante blockchain. He is an entrepreneur that since he was a child, he's always had this passion for solving problems and applying that kind of like his brain to properly solve meaningful problems. He comes from as you can imagine, based on the name of the company, he comes from the diamond industry. And throughout his career, he's been seeing pain points in the diamond industry as such. So now that we have new technologies, he's used blockchain to basically improve the industry as such. He's having impact not just in the diamond industry, but in other industries. His papers, when he was like the tech behind like the work that he's doing, it's been reviewed by professors in the MIT. So he is a proper amazing brain as such. So it's going to be a treat. It's very different to the type of podcast that we usually have because blockchain is like such a specific topic and area. So I'm honored to have you here, Chirag. Thank you and welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that wonderful introduction. I'm really obliged. Happy to be here on your show.
Thank you. Thank you. The pleasure is mine. So we've been having a chat and you have a very interesting background. Not only, well, I'll let you guide us through your background, but can you explain to us how did you end up working in blockchain? That's like a question that many people have. It's like, oh, how do I get into blockchain? Can you share us your story, please?
Yes. So my journey has been very interesting, particularly for myself. Like it has never been a smooth ride. So I started as a biotechnical engineer. Then I switched for my master's in Germany in chemical and biological engineering. I did a couple of years of research work in my university, post to which I switched on behalf of my experience, on the experience that I had. I wanted to develop a microbrewery and chains of microbrewery in different parts of the world. So I started with India. Then there was some certain regulatory problems with the local governments, and that's what delayed the process. Post to which I thought, okay, why not US? US is a good market. So I went to US, explored the market, and I have been to a lot more of countries, just exploring the best machinery to produce the best microbrewery and the best beers that a microbrewery can offer.
Amazing. Yeah. Let me interrupt you a little bit. Like when you say microbrewery, for all of us listening that may not be native speakers, a brewery, it's like the factory where beer is produced. So basically you started creating beer, right?
Yes. So it's just on a layman's term, a place where you get the freshly brewed beer with some amazing food and offer that is prepared live. So nice. That was an experience that we were going to offer to our customers. And suddenly back in 2017, when we were in the process, I traveled to Germany, Belgium, Austria, Switzerland, Ukraine, China, India, US, explored different machineries, different brewing techniques. I used my experience back from the university, spoke with a lot of brewers, a lot of expert that has been in the industry since years and years. So that's the process. Like we almost were going to start the business, and that's when I realized the potential of blockchain because was also involved with my family's diamond business. I'm the third generation in the business.
Yeah.
So I already had experienced those pain areas, discussed them with a lot of people within the space in terms of the supply chain, payments, finance. And suddenly like my current co-founder, Dinesh Patel, so we started discussing, okay, this is a new tech that can solve a lot of pain areas. Then as an individual, I have always been a problem solver. So I started looking into blockchain, started studying it, what are the use cases, how it can be applied. And that was a spark that I had. Like I left a couple of years of work that I did for the microbrewery. I just delayed the path. Like I thought, okay, this is something very interesting. A microbrewery is definitely my dream that I'm going to pursue in next few years. But this is something that this is the right time, and a lot of people require this more than a fresh beer.
Agree. Yeah.
So that's when we started developing our own blockchain network. We put a team together of experts that have, like the team, my current CTO and the team, Arijit, they were the first ones to conduct the intra-bank trade finance remittance implementation based on blockchain between two of the largest private sector banks, that is ICICI Bank in India and Emirates NBD. So those kind of team members were put together, and our network was developed, Diamante. But as an individual, I always wanted, okay, this is something that we have built. It would always look good to us. How it would look, like if it has been applied to multiple use cases, how would the world react it? So we went to 50 or 55 different peer reviewers within the space. We gave them our technical white paper. We asked them to review it. And we got all 100% positive reviews. We got good suggestions and modifications that we did. And that's how our network was built. And as you mentioned, like the professor at MIT also reviewed the white paper and he approved it. So that is the depth that we think when we are doing any business. We go to the grassroots, the root level, and see if this is the core, something that can do good to a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
So that's how Diamante was developed, and I'm very proud to say. So on the technicality side of it, I don't want to go more technical on that. We have the scalability to achieve 1 million transactions per second. That is million co-current transactions per second. Right now, we are positioned at doing 75,000 transactions per second.
Oh,
that is 15,000 transactions per second more than Visa and Master network. So that is a scale of network that. So currently, the Visa and the Master network can process 60,000 transactions per second. And current network feasibility that we have on Diamante, we can go up to 75,000 transactions per second. So that is 15,000 transactions per second more than the Visa and the Master network. So that's the power that what we have built in the tech stack that what we have built. Yeah. And when you compare that, let's say those other blockchain networks out there, like we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, a lot of other blockchain networks. So they come to consensus, let's say 15 to 30 minutes or an hour. So that is the consensus time. And when we say consensus, just in a layman's term, like for any transaction to get settled on a blockchain, it takes so much of time.
Yeah.
Now, with Diamante, we are able to achieve those consensus in 2 to 4 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Imagine a difference between 30 minutes and 2 to 4 seconds. So that is a power that what we have built.
You built like an extremely amazing piece of technology. Like I come from the payments background, like banking background, fintech background. And even though I'm not technical to know the detail that you know, let's say in terms of the times, like I have rough understanding of how it works. And then you're telling me that it's like basically you are making those super instant, and you are claiming that this technology can be or is even better than the existing bigger technologies that we have, which is amazing.
Absolutely. And that is something that not always claim, and that is something that I don't like as well. So we have that proven tech where it has been tested to
Amazing.
those 75,000
Yeah.
transactions per
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah. That's
So
amazing.
that is a power that we have built, and that is something that I'm very proud about in terms of my team that has done
Yes.
a good amount of puts hours and hours to achieve that, what we have achieved today.
Yes. And that's a very good point. It's not you only. It's like the team
It,
behind you.
it
It's
is
like a
never me.
congrats, guys.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
never me. It is never me doing any work. Not now, not in the future. I'm a visionary who doesn't get good sleep if the vision is not achieved. I keep on working on
Amazing.
things which I want to achieve. So the vision is always very important. The focus is important, but it's always a team that does the
Team.
work for you.
Yes. It's always a team. How big is your team?
So currently we are a team of approximately 45 members.
45.
Yes.
Cool. Well done. Well done, everyone. Amazing.
Yeah.
So coming back to problem solving. So the diamond industry can be tricky, dangerous, impactful in a negative way. There's movies around the diamond industry. So there are pain points that you're trying to solve. What are those pain points within the diamond industry? And then how is your company solving them?
So when we talk about diamond industry, it's always luxury. Like, so it is our initial focus was to solve pain points with the industry that is focused on luxury, like luxury goods and services. You call it art, you call it gems, you have it, jewelry. So people, when you see gems and jewelry, people when you see gems and jewelry, a guy working in the gem and jewelry industry, they say, okay, this guy has to be always rich. But that has always not been a case in terms of people working within the industry. There are a lot of pain points, like a lot of people working within the industry. It's a very small industry. Like even someone working in India would know the other counterpart in US and Belgium. So it's a very closed loop industry, and the news gets spreads very fast. And that was the biggest advantage on developing what we have developed today. Because with a quick phone call, we can connect to anyone in the industry and talk about what the pain points they were facing. Are they similar to what we have faced? And that is the reason that we come to a conclusion and a solution very fast. For the end user, for the consumer, they don't know too much about the diamond industry or the jewelry industry, and that's why there are movies being made on the industry in terms of what are the practices that were being followed. And there are big companies that have always tried to do the betterment of the industry, like with certain certifications process in place, so that people become more aware of what they were purchasing. There are certain campaigns. So that has always been there. But until blockchain, it was not that possible to have the whole supply chain in the same network and make it all everything traceable and transparent. And that's the power of blockchain that we are discussing today,
Yeah.
where the goods coming right from the mines to the end user's finger or neck or ears in terms of ring, necklace, or earrings, that can be traced on blockchain, and the user has a real-time reflection of where the goods are coming from.
So are you saying
But
that,
to
let's
solve
say,
this huge pain,
okay,
yeah.
so basically
So
what you're saying, like,
for the user to understand,
okay.
no, please go ahead. Yeah.
So basically you're saying, like, if we think about it from a user perspective, you're saying like, hey, my earrings, my ring, like all this jewelry, that this is like, it's obviously it's not a diamond, it's just like pearls, but still it's kind of the jewelry industry, and it comes from nature and it's extracted and it goes through a process. But I, as a consumer, I don't know anything about this piece of pearl, basically, or diamond if it was a diamond. I just go and buy it somewhere.
Absolutely.
And I have no idea where it came from. I have no idea if it's fake,
Yeah,
if it's manufactured. It's like, I have no idea, basically. And what you're doing, and if these were like diamonds and it was like a luxury good and I paid like thousands for these, then I'm trusting the brand behind them. But basically what you're doing with your company, for me as a buyer of luxury goods, e.g. Luxury goods like diamonds, then your technology is going to give me as a woman that's buying my diamonds the certainty that they come from a good place rather than that they are blood diamonds. And you can prove it because it's traced.
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's good for guys like us as well. Like if we are gifting someone to our loved ones, so we don't get to have answer the question if it is real or fake. They can just scan a QR code and say, okay, this diamond has come from this particular mine, polished by this particular company, and it has the specification of this. So it becomes easier for both the guys and the girls and their loved ones as well. So it solves a lot of biggest problem that people have when they are proposing someone.
That is so interesting. Okay, can you repeat that again? So basically you're saying I can scan a QR to say that, well, assume it's a diamond, that this diamond in my ring, and I scan the QR, and then that's it, you know all the history.
Yes, you know all the history, where the diamond was mined, by which company, where it has been polished, by which company, which jeweler put the diamond into your ring, and who was the retailer, and how right now who owns it.
Cool.
The whole supply chain.
Awesome. And I guess my question is, how do I know that the QR code is real? That's where blockchain comes in, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, blockchain is a distributed ledger technology. So it has that immutability in place, where on a layman's term, like not everyone understands blockchain. I have seen a lot of people within the tech space don't understand blockchain. So I just want to take a few minutes and try to make people understand what is blockchain.
Yes, please.
So I'll take a very basic example where people have been doing their thing on a regular basis. Just a small example on the bank side of it. When we started, or few years back, when the banking started, people used to withdraw or deposit funds using a simple check receipt. Now it has been all online banking. So once the check was there has been a maker checker concept in the banking system. So we would give the check to the cashier. He would see it. Okay, if this account holds this balance or not. He'll give to the manager. The manager would approve it, and ta-da, you have the funds in your hand.
Yeah.
But imagine if the maker and checker both want to be a part of the fraud within the system. Like if the account doesn't have the balance, with the approval of both of them, you can get the extra funds if it's not sitting in your bank as well. And this kind of funds have been prevalent as well in the past, and some frauds even in today's life that we have.
Yeah.
So only two people had that authority to give the funds or to process the fund. So now imagine when you go to the bank and your account information is distributed with multiple approvers or multiple parties, and let's say hundreds of thousands of parties have the same information that X amount of funds is sitting in the wallet named Y. So there are no chances of fraud, because even if someone tries to create a fraud, even if someone wants to temper that, it has to have a permission from all the different individuals or nodes, as we call in blockchain, to approve it. So until it is approved and it matches the other networks and the nodes, the transaction cannot be approved. So that's how the security comes into the place. One more example on a very basic scale. For example, I always have done that. Like when I was a student, the amount of funds that I spent, I used to record it in a book.
Yeah.
And I could go, let's say, a couple of pages backwards and change any entry that I have made. Now, that was possible because I
Yes, it
was the
was.
only one
Yes.
doing that. It was a centralized system. Now imagine when I was putting entry into a book, those information was distributed with say hundreds of thousands of books like me. And I wanted to change an entry couple of pages backwards, then those entry wouldn't be accepted because that entry doesn't exist in the other books or other nodes as we call it in blockchain. So
Yeah.
what happens is the data becomes very secure, which is not controlled by a single entity or an authority. It becomes decentralized. So there is no central authority managing the data. The data is distributed with multiple entities or nodes or the parties involved with it. So that is what blockchain is. That's why it is very immutable. It, it is practically impossible to change the data as entries in the blockchain because let's say if there are 10,000 people holding the same information, you have to change the same entry for the 10,000 people's nodes, and that is practically impossible. So
Okay.
that is why blockchain is a very secure technology, and it is a very simple example for someone to understand what kind of potential a blockchain has. There are multiple use cases where it can be applied, and that's
Yeah.
where the traceability comes into the play, and that's where what we are doing with the payments and finance comes into the play.
Yeah. This is really good because then you explained in terms for normal people that are not in the blockchain space to really understand what
Yes,
it is.
I
Thank
hope
you.
people understand it. Yeah,
Me too. Me
and
too.
if someone still has and if
Questions?
someone still
Yeah.
has questions, I am always open to answer any questions related to
Yes.
blockchain
Yes.
anytime
Thank
to
you.
the show, or they can contact me any point of time.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, because that's important. It's important that everyone starts getting educated on what blockchain is and the applications as such, and how it
It is
may
very
change
important, like
industries.
edu- educating the people throughout the globe. It is very important with the new technology. Like almost 26 years back, there was internet,
Yeah.
and a young guy named Jeff Bezos, we all know him today. He came up with the idea. He wanted to sell books on internet. People thought he was crazy when people were not educated about internet. Right now, we are ordering everything from internet. Our life is almost impossible without internet. We chatting on a podcast, sitting in two different geographies, it is impossible without internet. So the internet journey has been with a lot of ups and downs with in terms of security, in terms of the trustworthiness of what was happening. Even 10 years back, if someone would have told me that uh, I was like, I'm always been very tech savvy. Like someone would have told, okay, you need to order a pair of shoes or clothes from internet. I would have said, no, I don't want it to be ordered from internet. I want to go and see it and
Yeah.
then buy it.
Yeah.
But today, most of my clothes are coming from internet.
Yes.
So that is the potential of the new technology that people need to understand. And passing on the knowledge is very important.
Okay.
And right now, this generation has been very tech savvy. So internet took almost 15 years for people to understand the internet. But blockchain is something that's going to take very short because people have become more knowledgeable throughout the geography. And the limitations of the knowledge has been very small using internet. Like you don't need to limit yourself. There are a lot of YouTube videos which makes you well aware about the new technologies coming in. There are podcasts like yours which teaches people that was not possible a few years back.
Yeah.
So that is the power the internet has, and that's why applying new technologies to different use cases in the world, it becomes much more easier.
Yes. I have a question just to build on that. I'm one of those people that has been going to YouTube to understand basically blockchain and Web3 and all that stuff. And I'm still in my journey to understanding what is and what are the implications in the future. But based on that, I've come up with a personal thesis that We currently have what's called the digital divide. That is people with internet skills, let's say, and without. But then my personal thesis is that in the next 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a second digital divide, that it's all of us that are currently tech savvy, e.g. we have access to internet and Facebook and all these things, and we are tech savvy, but we will not be tech savvy when it comes to blockchain, Web3, if we don't take action now. And the gap is going to be like huge. My friends who are not in the technology space, when I tell them blockchain, Web3, they look at me like I'm weird. So I think we will have that digital gap. How do we close it? For the normal people, for the normal people that don't work in banking nor tech nor diamonds, like normal people.
Through multiple channels, there are a lot of knowledge sources available on internet. It depends on the interests of the people. For example, you doing this podcast and passing on the knowledge. So these are all the seeds that we are right now putting that would grow bigger and bigger. Yeah. There are a lot of television channels coming up on blockchain. So if you are interested, if you're tech savvy, you are definitely going to have that knowledge, maybe not now, a couple of years later, but that gap, it's not going to be that huge. Like my grandfather, maybe he was listening to a radio, and if I would have given him a smartphone in his hand a few years back, it's like, what is this? Because he was more onto radio and, let's say, televisions.
Yeah.
Now, that gap is definitely going to be there, but it's going to come closer and closer as the new generations and the millennials that we have are very knowledgeable, very enthusiastic. A lot of schools have started teaching blockchain. So what happens is, when the school starts teaching blockchain and new texts like AI, VR, ultimately parents gets knowledge from their children's. That's how the world is changing so fast, and it's going to be a very smooth ride. That's what I believe. It's going to be a bit difficult, but it's going to be a smooth ride.
Good. I hadn't thought about that, like schools teaching about blockchain, but of course, once like your kid comes with homework about blockchain, then you as a mom, you have to have a rough understanding.
You have to learn.
You have to,
yes.
Right? It's like you have to.
Yeah, and
because he has or she had to do the homework. So.
And if the mother finds it interesting, she's definitely going to discuss that with the dad in the evening.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. You're totally right. Yeah, good. Because I was like, there's going to be a big digital divide, and there shouldn't. But actually, if it's taught in schools, then there shouldn't be. Well, I think there shouldn't be a digital divide.
Yeah, how it starts, it's generally starts with general knowledge. Then it becomes a part of the course. It becomes a new subject, and for the universities, for the schools.
Yeah,
that's how it progresses.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, awesome. Coming back to you and Diamante blockchain. You mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that it's been a long journey. Every entrepreneur has a long journey and has ups and downs in the journey. Can you share with us what's been your ups and downs and how you've dealt with them?
The first thing I would like to say on your mention, like every entrepreneur has a long journey. And if an entrepreneur is discussing his long journey, then it is always that they are on a path to becoming a success or they're already successful. Because you need to stick to what you have been doing day in, day out. You don't need to worry about the ups and downs, because everyone tends to have ups and downs. No one has a smooth ride. Nowhere in the world. It may be an entrepreneur, it may be an employee or an employer. Yeah. So that's how the life has been created, and that's a magic that we have, and it becomes very interesting when we have ups and downs. So there has been always ups and downs. There have been times where we almost thought, okay, this is not going to be possible. We need to rethink on this. But there have been times where we say, okay, now we are in a very comfortable space, but you never know what life would feed you.
You never know.
So
Yeah.
the most important thing is to stick to what you have been doing, believe in yourself, and that's what makes things possible.
Yeah.
And I think every uh, see, as a human beings, we dream a lot. We dream in the day, we dream in the night, during our sleeps. So there are multiple ideas, millions and billions of ideas flowing in human mind on a daily basis throughout the globe.
Yeah.
But it becomes very important, like you stick to one idea that you have, you analyze it if it is quite feasible, if it is solving a pain area for a larger group, not for maybe a small group or for yourself. And when you realize that, okay, this is something that has a good amount of potential, and you stick to it and start building on it, definitely you are going to achieve success. Like
Mm.
there might be times like we had with the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of people survived out of it. I don't want to say about the people who haven't not survived out of it because there might have been some difficulties, but majorly all the upcoming companies they survived out of it. They learned how to survive in the bad times.
Yeah.
So that is important because this stuck to that. Like there are a lot of companies like us who didn't have funds at that point of a time, and
Mm-hmm.
we are also very reluctant to approach people to fund our company
Yeah.
because we knew for sure that everyone is facing the same problem. But you stick to it, you take care of your team, you take care of yourself, your family, and once because there is it's like there has always have to be a light after the darkness. So believe in that, keep working on what you're doing, and definitely if you stick to it you'll find success. So that's what has gone through my journey as well, like without going into specifics where we were
Yes.
downs, where we're
Of
ups,
course.
but this
Yeah.
has always been a thought process, and that's what we are here right now.
Just to build on that. Yeah, it's like it's just part of life. We it's ups and downs. We never know what's around the corner. Um, Resilience. I found like if I look back in my life, resilience is what basically allows you to keep going. Basically, you're saying stick to your idea, stick to your journey, believe in yourself. That is part of being resilient. How have you built that resilience?
So to be honest, it was not built. It was not built in a single day. So it is a whole process in the life that teaches you that. It's the environment that you stay in. And what I think of how it was built is I have been traveling a lot, studying in different parts of the world, uh, have been introduced to multiple cultures. So that's what teaches you something that you how to
Yes.
do and how to engage. So it is very important to be an extrovert, not an introvert. Speak with people around you. Start discussing around you. Never be too shy to do what you have been doing, or never be shy to try new things. So
Yeah.
that makes very so everything, like even a small thing, teaches you a lot. So
Yes.
the important part is to keep on learning from different people, from different experiences, and that's how you become resilient, as you see.
That's a beautiful perspective. Thank you. Because yes, I think same like my journey, it's been I lived, well, I'm originally from Mexico, right? So I know the Latin American culture, but then I lived for many years in the UK. Then I've been living for many years in Asia as well. So what knowing those three different cultures has taught me is exactly what you say. It's like you listen to different perspectives, you see different ways of being, you learn from different people, you ask questions. That makes you like a richer human being. Like you have more holistic understanding rather than this is my
Yeah,
view and
you
that's it.
it brings a totally different perspective to your life.
It does. It does. For me, living abroad has been life changing. Cool. So coming back to your company, how, and I'll change the topic a little bit. how do you keep your team motivated?
To be honest, my team is like core. It's like I interact with my team more than I interact with my family. So it's almost like a family, and that is the motto that we have. Like
Wow.
we are not a team. We don't have an employee-employee relation. We are a family. We listen to each other. We understand each other on a personal basis, uh, on a professional basis. Like as I said, the ideas are flowing around at every point of a time, and it's the same with the team as well.
Yeah.
So everyone has that ideas to give. So whenever we have a new team member or the existing team member that we always have a motto that you have to learn a lot. Don't restrict yourself. So we give them a freedom. So they have to obviously work on what they have been working, but there are certain things that we have set as rules where they need to learn new things on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis.
Oh, nice.
And if they don't learn, then their KPIs goes down. So learning is a most important process that we have and what we believe in. So everyone should learn something new. It may be anything. Like we have one of our team members that is learning Indian dance form.
Cool.
It's not just limited to one restriction, like one ideology or one area.
Yeah.
It can be anything wider. So when you keep on learning things, you have a new, different perspective. Your thought process changes on how to solve the problems on a daily life basis or the professional problems that you have. And
Yeah.
that's how the new ideas flow in, and that's how teams become stronger, and that's how the value of a team creates, and that's how we become a family together.
That is amazing. And I think I've never heard that before, that it's like learning is part of your KPIs. If you're not learning something, even if it's like cooking or dancing or whatever it is, then your KPIs will drop. That is brilliant.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's how the team stays motivated. So, like what I have believed or what I have seen in some other companies, you have to work on some particular things, and after a few months or a few years, it becomes very boring for you
Yes.
because you have to day in day out do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like as good as being a computer.
Yeah.
Then why are computer for? So why are people for? Like people have to have that different perspective, and that's why human beings are superior than any technology out there.
Mm-hmm.
No one can replace human brains. So it becomes very important to learn the things, and that's how people manage their workload as well. We don't have any restriction on the timings within our team. They are free to
Okay.
work. They can work in the nights, work on the weekends, and that's how the team becomes more stronger and stronger. And that's where the team starts believing the project that you are doing. So they don't work for you, they work for the product. So
Yes.
you never work for your employer. You always work for what you are building. So that's
a
the
really
motto
good
that we have within
perspective.
the team.
I love that perspective. I've heard many times before that it's like you should the mindset of you don't like similar, that it's like you don't work for your employer but you work for yourself. I've heard that many times. In LinkedIn I've seen that a few times. But this is different, and I 100% agree. That keeps me motivated. That it's like, hey, you are working for the product. You believe in the product. You believe in the impact of the product. Therefore, like you say, you do the long nights, you do the weekends, you put the effort. It's important to believe in the what you're building.
So there are certain authentications required for using different systems within our company. So there are some times when I get calls 2 o'clock in the night on a Sunday that I needed access for this. And there are certain examples, like we understood that we had to build something on a particular delivery point. Like that's what. So the team itself started working 1 hour earlier than they used to work. And I came to know when I got an invitation for that particular meeting. So that kind of energy only comes when the team believes in your product that you're doing. So it's like people say consider themselves founders, and they say, okay, this is my company, but it is never a company of a single individual. So whenever your team members or they feel that this is my company, this is my product, that's what I have built, and when they feel proud about it, that's when you have the actual value for what you have.
Yes, 100% agree. Like I've been in like few entrepreneurial companies, and I think it's that, like when you feel proud that it's like, yes, this is what we're building, and then that motivates you, and then it's contagious. That's it. It's
Yeah,
contagious. Everybody
it's
starts.
very
It is contagious, and it's amazing to work in a company like that.
it's more contagious than COVID.
That's a very good phrase. It's more contagious than COVID. And at the same time, yes, it is amazing to work in a company like that. And at the same time, it's not that straightforward slash easy to build that culture. It's not like, ah, yeah, everyone believes in the product. It takes a lot from the visionary, from the founder to be like, hey, this is what we're building, and communicating that vision as well.
Yes, and I think that is the key. So what happens is like if I am managing the team, I'm managing the operations. So
Yeah.
I communicate with each and every employee that okay, this is the vision that we have. This is something that we are doing. This is the pain point that we are solving. So what do you guys think? Do you believe in it? Because if even the team doesn't believe in, the whole world wouldn't believe in it, and no
Agree.
one's going to use your product. It's just going to be a piece which no one uses. So that's how we enhance the capabilities of our product. Speak with the team members as well, because they have a lot more experience than I have. Absolutely. And when you see the cumulative experience together, they are very well experienced. So we have few team members. They are coming right from the college as a freshman, and they are doing much better than seasoned employees as well.
Cool.
So that is the power that you have when you have that motivation within your team.
Yeah, definitely. How then do you ensure, because now it's 45 people, at that stage, the company is still small, like it's a contained group of people. So every person that comes in has impact, not only in the work that they do, but also the culture and the field and the ambience. How do you ensure that that you hire the right people, that it's a good fit for what you're building, and then B, how do you ensure that you integrate them in such a way that they elevate even more that culture rather than contrast, let's say?
One of the ways to do that, what I believe is, you tell the existing team members to hire people for you because they understand the frequency. They know what they are looking for. They have that responsibility in place. When they start taking the interviews, imagine a freshman taking an interview of a seasoned employee who knows the culture of the company, because he might be more experienced in different genres, but a freshman working for a company, let's say even for a 6-month period or a 12-month period, he knows the vision of the company more than what the seasoned employee that is just coming in does.
Yes.
So you allow them that opportunity to learn. So they are they get groomed on multiple side of it. They learn from their interviews as well. They learn from their perspective as well when they are taking their interviews. So it's all about giving the responsibilities out so that all the team member understand what they are doing, and that's how the culture starts building. Even the new people joining the company, they understand, okay, this company, if is everyone has the same culture, it becomes very continuous, as you mentioned, and that's how you build across. Like we might be a very small team, there are very big tech giants out there, but definitely this is the culture that's going to replicate in the next few years and throughout the company's life cycle on what we are building. There might be Google's and Facebook and their examples and a lot of LinkedIn or Instagram or Snapchat videos about their work culture and everything. But we don't try to replicate those cultures because everyone dreams to work in Google, just seeing videos. And I think they are one of the finest in terms of managing the work culture. But every company is different. Every work culture has to be different.
Yes.
You always learn good values from others, but you never try to copy that. You build yourself and build so good that people try to copy from yourself.
That's amazing. Well, I wish you all the very success and tons of growth in the company and the company culture as well. That's key. That's key to maintaining
Yes.
the product and having the impact.
I hope for that as well.
And all that. Yes, thank you. It's been a fascinating conversation. We've covered a lot. We've covered from diamonds to blockchain to payments to culture, leadership, entrepreneurship. It's been fascinating, really. Thank you so much. Before we start wrapping up, what would be your final remarks for anyone listening? What comes to your mind?
So the final remark for anyone listening to the show, and I think that is what I believe in. Yes. Don't listen to me. Listen to yourself and believe in yourself and do the things that you're doing. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone has a different goal. So listen to the podcast, enjoy it, enjoy the experiences. But when it's come to your professional or personal life, listen and believe in yourself. Don't follow anyone, follow yourself. You'll have better chances of achieving success.
Absolutely. Follow-up question on that, because this is like so important. And this is like what goes through people's minds. Like, let's say I, as a listener, as a recipient of the message, how do I listen to myself?
Just have fun in what you are doing.
Have fun.
If you are having fun in what you are doing, you'll
yes.
achieve success.
Yes, and I think
not today,
that's
maybe
spot
tomorrow, day after tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, because it's like, listen to yourself. Yeah, it's just as simple as have fun. If you're having fun, then it's like you're enjoying it. That's like feedback for you. If you're not having fun and you're not enjoying it, that's also feedback that
then you should quit it. Yeah,
it's not. Exactly. It's like, no, that's not for me.
And we have been doing that since the childhood. If we are having fun with the friends, then we are friends with them. If we are not having friends, we don't stay friends anymore. So it's very simple.
Yes.
You don't have to think a lot about that.
I love it. Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful remark. Thank you. Thank you so much, Chirag. Okie dokie.
Thanks a lot for your time. Really appreciated.
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot. Where can we find you? If anyone has an question.
So you can find me on LinkedIn and through my website. You can email me at chirag.jetani@diamanteblockchain.com for any queries that you might have. I am available on all social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. So I'm always open to having conversations or any queries that anyone has.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being available for everyone to ask. That makes it
Thanks a lot for your time as well.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot to the listener having patience and listening to me if they have come to this part of the podcast, the end of it.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Awesome. Well, it's been an amazing, amazing conversation. Thank you again, Chirag, and everyone. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.